No question. Ronnie Kray didn't want to do anything other than be a gangster. He knew there was money in being a gangster, but the power was more important to him.
Of course, they were gangsters, they committed murder and all the rest of it, but behind it all, I think there was the most terrible, sad story, which is of these two identical twins, and one of them was abnormal.
He was feared, and anybody that said they wasn't frightened of him is telling lies. You know, I mean, I've heard loads of rubbish in the papers and seen all the rest of it, and I tell you what, if the man was alive today, they would be shitting themselves, you know, in case he did ever get out. I mean, let's put it this way. I wasn't frightened of him because I knew how to handle him. But if he had the hump on me, I'd keep well away until Reggie sorted it out.
Lasker looked after him ever since he was about 17 onwards with pills, yeah, every single day. Well, he quietened him down, there's no two ways about that. I mean, from a raging lunatic, he would be sitting there like a zombie.
He wasn't the same person one day as he was the day before, you know? And the influence he had over Reg, in my opinion, was great, you know? And not only Reg, 90% of the other people in the East End that he worked with, you know?
Cornell, there's no point in shooting the poor bugger. No point at all.
What'd you get, Ron? 30 years. Well, I've just got to put my cruise to the Bahamas off for a short time. But never mind, you know, we'll have a wonderful time when it finally arrives. With a smile on his face. Like, you know, it was just another day, it was just another event. I'm going to light another player.
Ronnie would get up in the morning, yeah, and some mornings he'd come down, he'd be all happy, ha ha ha, and that morning he'd come down, sit in the chair, and pull a face, and he'd sit there, and you couldn't talk to him. That's how he was. And if he was nice in the morning, he'd ever got someone on the night, and if he was horrible in the morning, he'd be all happy on the night.
You had to be careful what you said in front of him. Now, you could say something to Ronnie one day, and the next day take big offence to it. Always had a look about him. Not deliberate. That was Ronnie, always staring down, always immaculately. I'll picture Ronnie Kray, his glasses on, three-piece suit, the match wasn't chain. He's standing in the corner there, sipping a drink. Staring at the floor. Never really said a lot.
Leslie Holt came into the room at some point and said, "Shall I go and collect the governor now?" Holt came back about half an hour later with this rather extraordinary guy who was very, very heavily set. And the first thing that you noticed about him were these eyes, which were black and dead and looked like a sort of killer shark. And when he looked at you, you had a disturbing feeling that he was sizing you up for the kill. Bone-crushing handshake. And this was Ronnie Kray.
Ronnie was particularly dangerous. There was no knowing where his temper would lead him. People were shot for offences, people were very badly beaten. Somebody said quite early on to Ronnie, you've put on a bit of weight, and Ronnie cut the man to ribbons.
And he actually pulled a gun on me. I heard myself saying, well, go on then. That will make a good story, won't it? Journalist gunned down in Krays club. I can't believe I said it. And Reggie appeared as if by magic and said, leave it out, Ron. You can see the kid's not interested, and he's the effing press.
Ronnie had seemingly achieved his ambition to control London as Al Capone had controlled Chicago. Drunk on power and believing he was immune from prosecution, Ronnie went on a killing spree. George Cornell was a rival gangster said to have called Ronnie a fat puff. Ronnie tracked him down to the Blind Beggar pub in Bethnal Green. Without saying a word, he executed Cornell with a shot to the head.
Ronnie, he was his own man, you know. Nobody was going to tell him what to do. He was the boss. He was much more a gangster for the thrill of being dominant and powerful rather than money. And perhaps this was expedited by his mental condition that took pleasure in violence.
Whereas Ronnie was more, if you give his word, he would stick to his word. He was the nuttiest one of the two, and he was on this drug that horse tranquilizer and knock a horse over what he used to take, you know. But he needed that every day to keep himself, because he was manic depressive, you know. And he thought if people looked at him too long, he thinks they're going to attack him or something, you know. He was one of those very insecure people.
He was a very, very scary man. Believe me, I've met a lot of scary people, but Ronnie Kray was a very, very sick, psychopathical, schizophrenia, and manic depressive, all rolled in one word of his mouth. He meant everything he said.
He wasn't right in the head. He definitely wasn't right in the head.
He never apologised. He never reformed.
He was getting out of control, Ronnie. He was going so far that he couldn't care less. He thought he was untouchable.
Ronnie continued to chicken scratch his list of people he intended to kill.
He took one of my kids' little books and he started putting names. So Kray compiled the list of the people to be killed. Who's going to be next? On your daughter's colouring book in my front room.
Fear came off of Ronnie, you know. Oozed out of him. He had that smile, almost take it two ways. Either he's smiling at you because you're going to get hurt, or he's smiling at you because he likes you. I mean, Ronnie would be laughing and joking about, all of a sudden, he'd pick them. I was up the club speaking to George and Alan Dixon, and Ronnie happened to walk in. And I never seen that. Hello, Bill, and he stopped dead, went in his pocket, pulled out a Beretta, went up to Dixon, and Dixon was about 6'3". Ronnie was about as tall as me, I suppose, like about 5'9", 5'10". Put the gun to his head and bang, bang. Pulled the trigger twice, nothing happened. I thought it was a joke. Ronnie took 2 bullets out. He said, "Here's your birthday present, George."
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please join our Facebook group. It's called Krays Crime Lords of London. We're a friendly, moderated group with over 1,000 Kray and other celebrated gangster videos available for view. There's also thousands of images in the photos sections. The link for the group is in the YouTube description section. I hope we see you there soon.